Don't strip him. Don't strip him.
Hello everybody. I'm gonna be as quick as I can because I have to turn my fan off to record and it's hot as fucking balls at the moment. So I did a poll on Instagram asking what you guys wanted me to talk about in a video. So the winner by a long shot was making art versus paying bills. Me when I have to pay a bill. I guess the first thing to start off with is just to realize the fact that the economy doesn't really want you to be an artist. It doesn't really incentivize it. Unless you're, part of a big studio or like have a professional job like that. You're kind of like you're actively fighting the system to be an artist because it doesn't make money, and what doesn't make money or like produce power or food or electricity or whatever the fuck, it's not really deemed valuable in society. So once you sort of realize that, sort of just accept that, get some copium into your system, you can work from there and sort of figure out methods to be able to do what you gotta do to live. Keep the lights on, keep a roof over your head, and also not completely give up on yourself, and just to be able to express yourself every now and again and have some fun and be a human. So the first point I've got down is time management, because you've only got a certain amount of time in the day, and until you really sort of sit down and look at how much time you've got, you're kind of just like flying blind with like what you can do in life, really. And I'm not saying you have to like sit down and plan and calculate every single hour. Just sort of get a basic understanding of how much time you need to work to not be homeless or whatever, to not be like one of the crackheads in like Instagram reels, and then how much free time contrasts to that. So I've worked vastly different sort of levels in my life. I've worked not at all, been just completely unemployed, and other times I've been working like 40 hours a week, and both of those really sucked because you've got money but you don't have time to spend it or enjoy having money, and then the other one, you've got nothing but free time but you can't afford anything, so it's like I'm boned either way. So what you want to do is just work just enough to live comfortably, and sort of figure out what do you need to live comfortably. What foods and luxuries can you live without? And you'll find that if you've just got what you need and you're actually like living a life that holds up to your values, you don't really need too much, to be honest. Never met a genuinely happy rich person, so take that nugget of truth. I don't know. So yeah, just sort of figure out how, and as I said, figure out how little you have to work to not, be out on the streets or whatever, not be starving, and then that gives you just a bit of time to like, when you're not working, just to be a person, just to be human, and also, if you're watching this, be an artist, and don't forget to like allocate like time for self-care as well, because resting, if I did divide it into thirds, I guess, just rest, human time, work time, and try and keep work time as small as possible, but like be reasonable. And next, with that free time and you're making things, you might want to think about the scope of what you're making, because that'll dictate how much time is taken up. So if you're just making like drawings here and there, you're having fun and you're like just creating characters or doing fan art, you can live pretty like happily, comfortably, because it takes you like a day or two to make like a really good piece, and you can post it and all good. Like, that's fun. It's fun as shit. But if you start sort of building up, like you want to do some animation, that's going to take a bit more time and a bit more planning. And then the longer the animation goes, the more intricate it gets. It's like it'll probably take you like 6 months at the shortest, maybe like up to a year, depending on how long you want your animation to be and how polished and good. But either way, like if you're doing a really long project, it's best to do everything for at least like an hour a day minimum. Well, no, not actually. And I find so, and just consider that like that epic triangle of what is it called? Like it's time, quality, and cost. So cost $0, that's your budget. So you've got high quality or done quickly, basically. So do you want it done quickly or do you want it done well? Think about the more polished you want to make something, it's drastically going to increase your time to take it. So then you're relying on consistency, basically. Being like outrageously like productive and talented or whatever, like it doesn't like add up to just someone who's consistent. If just doing even a minute every day, like just like a minute a sketch, it's something. As long as you're doing just a little bit more than nothing every day, it will add up. Like think about like doing like a minute a day for like a year. It's like that adds up to like 365 minutes. Like I don't know how long that is in hours, but like it's still a lot of time. Like thinking about how easy it is to do something for a minute versus not, it's like you may as well just do it for a minute. And it's like, and you've got like 365 minutes that like took no effort at all, like of work done or whatever. Then what you want to focus on is like what motivates you, like the motivation system. From my experience with like other people too, it's like from my experience, and like a lot of the motivation comes from just like the enjoyment of art itself, right? It's like it's in a form of expression. It's cool to make shit, like, so just consider what your values are. If you live and if you actively try to live by those values, you'll be surprised how like good you feel about yourself, or like how accomplished you feel, even if nothing much changes in your life. It allows you to take pride in like the small steps that you make each day, and actively enjoy the process. If you can't enjoy the making itself, and you're only if your motivation is the end goal, it's going to be hell the whole time, and you're probably going to fall off. And like, it's not a sustainable motivation. Just like the validation of like an audience, or like what other people think of you or your art. Because the majority of art making is just sitting by yourself making art, like with no one watching, no one telling you like great job. So if you can't get that validation from yourself and be like, wow, this is exactly what I want to be doing, or like, yes, I solved that problem, cool, way to go me, then you're not really you're gonna be kind of miserable for 99% of the time. And you're sort of just going to be chasing that next high of like, oh, I can't wait till everyone sees this. I can't wait till everyone sees this. Yeah. And, based off, like, coming from that, is the thought of like procrastination. And it's very easy to start procrastinating with like art projects, especially if you're like working, you're like, you've worked the entire day, you come home, you can't even like think, like, 'cause you're just so tired. It's like, how are you gonna start doing more work, And even on your days off, you're like, oh, it's my first day off, like I'm gonna like do all this, I'm gonna do all that, and then you wake up on your day off and you're like, I don't feel like doing shit. Like, I'd rather shit in my hands and clap than like put a pencil onto paper. Like, so it's good to think about what like procrastination is, like in that way. And it's kind of just like the avoidance of pain, from my experience. Usually whenever I'm procrastinating, making art or anything really, it's because when I think about doing the task, it hurts. Like, it just hurts to think about. Usually because I'm thinking about the whole thing in its entirety, like how daunting it is. It's like looking up at Mount Everest, being like, I gotta climb that shit, like what the fuck? And also just like thinking about how much just effort it takes, like, to do something. Yeah, so it's like no wonder like you wouldn't want to do that. You'd be avoiding it. So it's probably good to like, dissect or sit and think and look into yourself about like why the thought of art is like, or like the thought of doing your hobby is like painful for you. Because, it can be just like, oh man, I'm just exhausted. Like, I don't feel like it right now. Like, I can't even like visualize anything to draw. Which in that case, it's like, go sleep. Like, if you don't have energy, like, you need to rest. But then there's also, other forms of like pain that come from it, like psychological pain, where it's like, oh, I don't like my art. I don't feel like I'm good enough. And then, yeah, it's like, well, yeah, of course you wouldn't want to draw if just looking at your art and making art is making you feel really shit about yourself and like you're not worthy or valuable and stuff like that. But in that case, it's really good to sort of do a bit of practice in, self-compassion, which is rich coming from me, because if anyone saw the inside of my sketchbooks, it's full of notes saying like, dude, what the fuck are you drawing? Like, this looks like shit, man. Like get it together, or like, this looks bad. What the hell? No more drawing for you today. Like, I would like cut myself off from drawing and write it down and like chastise myself. So yeah, very rich coming from me. But like, when I'm like kind to myself and like don't judge myself, I find my art actually gets a bit better because I'm less restrictive, and also, yeah, it helps me enjoy art better. Like, it's best to go into every drawing you do with no expectations. Sort of before you even touch the paper or the tablet or whatever, just say to yourself like, this could be good, it could be shit. Either way, it's fine. It's totally fine to make mistakes. It's totally fine to not be like perfect. Because like, you aren't your art, like, if you don't make the piece you want, if you don't make a good piece of art, it doesn't mean like you suck. It just means like you didn't translate what was in your brain accurately yet. You just need to exhibit some like compassionate inquiry. It'd be like, instead of being like, what the fuck is wrong with this? Like, why did I do this? Just like ask yourself nicely, like, what am I not vibing with on this? And like, what do I think could be improved? And if so, how do I improve it? Like, I don't really think I'm there with how this drawing of a head looks. So let's deconstruct it. Let's see what we can change about it. Yeah, okay. The anatomy isn't really following the right perspective. The eye sockets aren't sloping down the right way based off the vanishing point or whatever. It's like, okay, let's try again, but like, take that into consideration this time. Know that like, you can draw things again. You can just keep going, and it's completely fine to make a mistake. You just look at it without hating it or judging it. I rambled on for a little bit there. I'm not used to saying my thoughts too coherently. I mean, the last bit is like, studying and improving your art, because it's easy to like stagnate when you're like working and trying to like live life and do all this on the side. So it's important to like treat your sort of art brain as like a muscle. Like, I feel like it's really true. If you don't use it, you lose it in a bit. It's like any other muscle. It's like, if I don't use my legs for 2 weeks, then I lose like half my muscle mass. So it's good to just exercise, like, just not like go to the gym, go to the drawing gym, and fucking max out and fucking drop the pen and fucking scream. That's the shittest joke ever. But you know, you don't have to like bust your ass. Like, as I said before, just consistency, little things every day that take minimal effort add up. Go onto a life drawing website and just click up a picture, say 5 minutes, put on a 5-minute timer and just say, let's do a sketch of this for 5 minutes. And it's like, that's it. Just do that every day with another thing, another life drawing, 5 minutes a day. Easy. And if you can't do it that day, fine, do it another day when you have energy. It's like, it's not like a huge thing. If I don't do this, I'm a failure. It's just like, try and keep it positive, try and keep it fun. And just like slowly get out of your comfort zone. Maybe like try draw something you don't normally draw. Like, oh, this week I'm gonna draw horses, like for like a minute every day or something. Or like, I'm gonna start drawing environments or whatever. Like, and as I said before, just be like, I'm gonna start drawing environments. I'm aware that I've never drawn an environment like this before, so it could turn out shit. It could turn out not the way I want it to be, and that's fine. Cause like, I'm still me, world's still turning. I'm like, I still value myself, whether or not like I can draw this environment. And you know, all this stuff I've said is, I feel like it's kind of good to avoid burnout. Just don't fucking overwork yourself. It's never worth it. You will never get results. It makes your life shit. It makes your art worse. Like, it makes you feel bad. Like, and it makes you lose your passion for the thing, because it reinforces that like painful experience. And you know, I guess I just end the whole thing here by saying, like, you know, majority of life is very uneventful. It's very mundane. You'll probably have like the same day about 10 million fucking times, and that's like not a bad thing. It's good to have like a baseline for life. Like, you don't need something crazy fun to happen all the time. Just sort of find out what you value in life and about yourself. And if you stick to those values, yeah, like, you can be pretty like relaxed and happy for a lot of time. And if you just got a job you hate just little enough that you can get through it for the week, and then you can feel better about like what you do outside of work, like, eventually over time you will make some cool shit. And don't have to be like famous or whatever. You don't have to be like, have everyone go, wow, let me suck your dick for being so cool and shit. As long as you have like something to be like, something small to be proud of yourself, a little group of friends that go, hey, awesome job, dude, or whatever, or like, huh, this is cool, interesting, whatever. Yeah, just, it's just like, I don't know. Alright, I have no fucking idea how to end this. Bye.